With the release of their new podcast, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes declare that they are planning a life together. These are the main lessons learned. We're the folks who lost the jobs we love because we love each other, Holmes stated. TJ Holmes and Amy Robach are at last sharing their perspectives. 1 year to the day after they were pulled off the air due to rumors of their romance, the former GMA3 co-hosts debuted a new podcast on Tuesday. The journalists broke their silence and said their relationship was not nearly as scandalous as headlines suggested on iHeartRadio's Amy and TJ podcast. Robach said, "We've been doing this for a long time, so I'm nervous. We were told not to report to work on December 5th, which was exactly 1 year ago today." Kim Godwin, president of ABC News, notified employees that Holmes and Robach would be temporarily placed on leave while the network determined the optimal course of action. But neither Good Morning America nor the spin-off they co-hosted together saw the troubled journalists back. He said, "We're the people who lost the jobs we love because we love each other. We were exposed, but we escaped detection." The pair was extremely clear about what they wanted to say. During their marriage, they stayed faithful to one another. As the Daily Mail released a piece along with numerous images on November 30th, Holmes and Robach walked listeners through the series of events that led to the appearance of a love relationship between the GMA3 hosts. Holmes clarified, "Everyone else believed we were being exposed as adulterers, as cheating on our spouses. At that time, we were both going through divorce proceedings." Robach revealed on the show that she left the family home in August, despite being married to actor Andrew Shue. Holmes claimed to have been living alone after divorcing his wife Marilee Fiebig. He went so far as to claim that he was shown leaving his solitary apartment in one of the Gossip magazine images. Holmes stated that "scandal-less, because this was a scandal that wasn't," was one of the suggestions they had for the podcast moniker. Given that Holmes was in a pretty dark space, Robach had to conduct a welfare check on him. One day after tabloids released pictures of their purported affair, Holmes was in a pretty dark spot. Robach recalled receiving an apology text from Holmes that made her very anxious because it was written in the past tense. In one message, he said, "You were the love of my life. When I call, he doesn't pick up." She recalled, "I FaceTime him, and he doesn't answer. He's not answering anybody." Robach and her father headed to Holmes's apartment. She recalled, "I remember walking down the hall, opening the door, and finding you just sprawled out on your bed. When I said, 'TJ, you remained still.' And I still recall how horrible it felt to have to touch your body to check on your warmth. I was quite terrified. You were merely nonsensical." Holmes said that the day before, after finishing work, he started pounding vodka and didn't stop. He consumed edible marijuana as well. Robach spoke candidly about her own battles with mental illness. "I recently celebrated 10 years since my breast cancer diagnosis," she said. "I would therefore frequently claim that 2013 was the worst year of my life. The most difficult year of my life. When you have cancer, you do worry that you might not make it, but you also fight to survive," she recounted, adding that the previous year had been much worse. "I desired to pass away. On some days, I wished to pass away. I had never encountered anything like that in my life. I simply didn't want to stand up. I was not interested in seeing what fresh headline might surface." They assert that the story was abandoned until ABC unintentionally brought it back. When it was known that Holmes and Robach had left their marriages, the mainstream media, according to Holmes and Robach, unanimously decided not to report the story. Subsequently, ABC removed the anchors, and the story began to take on an independent course. "We received phone calls from our supervisors informing us that they had made the decision, and they reiterated that we had not broken any company policies," Robach said. "They felt it would be best to take us off the air temporarily to let things settle down because we had become a distraction." The seasoned reporter was aware that choice would fuel the tabloid story even more. "Please don't do this, because if you take us off the air, this is going to be a story," I begged. Regarding the call on December 5th, Holmes continued, "That was the morning we knew we would not be going back to that network. We were aware that the phone call had ended things as you cannot recover from it." Robach claimed that she was experiencing nausea since they were aware of what would happen after the announcement. Holmes and Robach acknowledged that they acted inappropriately in the beginning. Should we tell them what's going on? They wondered. Just before the photos were released, Robach stated that they had every intention of doing it and we didn't believe, and I don't think we still do believe, we were doing anything technically wrong. And we thought, let's just get these divorces cleaned up and then let's do it, he added. Holmes added, if we had released statements regarding divorces and people discovered that we were dating, they might have raised an eyebrow or two and said, well, that's still a fascinating subject. However, by telling the tale in this manner, the press was able to declare morning show stars suspended, which made the news mainstream. Given the brand we were associated with, that is now a significant story, and we anticipated that it would be significant. Throughout the podcast, Holmes and Robach both said that, despite their fame, they were unaware of the level of attention their relationship would garner. It's just a freaking sexy narrative, Holmes conceded. We simply didn't think that anyone would care about what we were doing, the speaker said. Prior to relationship, Robach was like a sister, according to Holmes. The two admitted that there had been early rumors at ABC that the anchors were more than just co-workers. But Holmes denied the accusations, saying he thought of Robach as a good friend. He said, they used to call us brother, sister. We would almost say, you, whenever they would joke about what's going on between the two of them. As they traveled together and hosted GMA3, their bond grew even stronger. Holmes claimed that he is occasionally surprised when Robach refers to him as honey, even now. Because we had a very long friendship, he remarked. I mean, really friends for a long time. According to Holmes, their relationship has become even stronger as a result of Robach's support during many of his difficulties over the previous few years. Together, we are creating a future. Holmes and Robach are quite upfront about their relationship status and their long-term goals. We are all ultimately cheering for love, even though it doesn't always happen where or when we want it to. And when it's real, it's undeniable, difficult to handle, and not always easy, said Robach. In relationships are difficult. They're not flawless, and they're untidy. I can honestly say that I have never been happier. We have battled for love. I won't become corny because I'm with my best friend. I believe it is appropriate to state that we have had a year of hell. However, she added, we have supported each other through it all and have a close-knit support system of family and friends who have helped us get through the really difficult times. It has been the most beautiful relationship I have ever had in my life, but we still have more work to do, as all relationships require.